Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Energy If You Know, You Know, the podcast that provides a platform for the Gen Z workforce to share their unique perspectives, ideas, and aspirations as they shape the energy industry's future. I'm your host, Saloma, and today I'm so excited to introduce you to Peace Bello, joining us all the way from Nigeria. So, hi Peace, how are you?
Hi, Saloma. Good evening from here. I'm good, and you?
Good, good. So let's dive in. Who's Peace Bello? Tell us about your journey and where are you from and where'd you go to school?
All right, thank you. Uh, Brief introduction. Um, I just graduated last year, background in chemical engineering. Uh, I got admitted sometimes around 2017, but the way education is over in Nigeria, we have strikes and lots of breaks, and plus COVID. So it prolonged the 5 year journey and down to 6 plus 7 years journey. And yeah, eventually I was able to finish last year with my colleagues, which was a very, very big win for all of us, after the struggles and and the stress. That was really a milestone in our journey. But for me personally, one of the high moments was finishing as the best in my sets. That's my department. That was really, really a big one for me, and it really means so much to me. But before that, chemical engineering was just something that was just, I would just say, I just fell in love with it. Not as though, uh, Not as though I was just drawn to the money aspect, like, everyone wants to go for the money. But from secondary school, I loved chemistry, I loved maths. And I was just looking for a way where I could deploy my knowledge and where I would really, really fit in. And I just saw chemical engineering as a space that would help me navigate my career paths. And along the way, I got into energy, and yeah, that was how the journey began.
All right, thank you for sharing. I mean, I do understand. While I was doing my master's, I'm from Lebanon, so there was a lot of strikes going on,
Yeah.
and I was worried it was going to prolong my process as well. Was that stressful
Uh,
for you? It was stressful for me.
well, definitely. From year one to year three, there were really no strikes. But between year four and year five, so what was meant to take probably a year and 6 months eventually panned out to 3 years. And that was really, really frustrating for most of the students because a lot of people at that point, they're already getting so tense up with the academic situation. They want to start making money. You are seeing your mates, probably
Yeah.
private universities, already leaving school because they're in a federal university um, strike. And you are stuck in between. Okay, I've gone 3 years in. Do I go back and start the journey again in a private university, or I just
Oh,
wait to finish it out? It could be so frustrating, but I think what really changed, what really made it not so straight for me was because I found other things during that time. That was the time I delved into developing my tech skills, and so really, really a very good moment for my personal development as a person.
okay. So it seems like, and I think we'll dive into that in a little bit, but it's you
Okay,
took that time positively, or you tried to maintain a positive mindset, and you delved in and you took that opportunity to develop skills in other
yeah,
areas for yourself. That's good.
yeah.
And when you did chemical engineering, did you ever think that you would join the energy industry, or did it just happen?
Well, so this is what actually happened. So if you go through my CV or go through my profile, notice I went to International School, University of Ibadan. So that's like this private secondary school of University of Ibadan, and I was meant to just proceed from their secondary school to the university. But when I got to year five in secondary school, that's SS2, quite SS2 here in Nigeria, I noticed that UI did not have chemical engineering; they had petroleum. And
Mm,
I just felt petroleum was just too narrow
mm,
for the kind of career I'll be pursuing. So I always
mhm.
wanted to be in the energy sector, but I just felt petroleum was just too narrow for me.
Okay.
So yes, I wanted to be in the energy sector, but I don't just want to be in the petroleum sector. I wanted something that would afford me much more opportunities to develop something more tangible for the energy mix. So yeah, energy has always been there. But I would say because of Nigeria, probably Petroleum was like the bustling one at that time. But I was just looking for something much more than that at the point in time.
Okay, I was similar. So, same for me. I always knew I wanted
Yeah,
to be in the energy industry, but I was too afraid to just dive into petroleum because it was too narrow.
yeah,
So I did pursue chemical engineering,
yeah,
to have like a
yeah,
broader um, understanding, and so I can implement my knowledge
yeah,
in different areas within the industry. Now, before we get started, before I ask you about Chemotronix Limited, your startup, your company, um, how did your internship experiences? You've had internship experiences with oil and gas companies, with food and beverage companies. How did those help influence you to kind of pivot and start and go towards the entrepreneur route?
yeah. So my internships were really sorry. My internships were really vital to my journey. The first one with Coca-Cola. So that was really my first time on industry location. So all the while I just in the classroom, you see lots of equations. Yeah, I'm wondering
Mhm.
where will all this pan out and what's the use of all this. So for the very first time, I saw what a compressor looked like, what a
Okay.
boiler looked like. So I was able to really see how these machines worked. So I knew the importance of water use ratio, energy use ratio, and I was able to work with some of the engineers, carry out tests on water samples. So I really appreciated what I was doing in the classroom because it gets to a point you are studying, yeah, you are seeing, yeah, you are studying, but you don't really know how and what this will turn out to. Well, I would say the internship or first time in year three was really very motivating for me. I just
Mhm.
had 2 months, but that 2 months was really solid. I learned a lot about the HVAC system, water analysis, and really saw how production goes on in these companies. Then the second one is Schlumberger. So that actually took me out of my region. I had to travel to another part of Nigeria. So I moved from the southwest to the south, which is the oil-rich part of Nigeria, and that was like more exposure for me. I got to meet people different from where I'd been all through my life. Uh, Also got to see what exactly the oil and gas sector look like. You just read in the news, you read price of crude
Yeah.
oil, you wonder, okay, what's going on? But that really an eye opener for me. Got to see the machines, got to see the tests, the carry out, different analysis done in the laboratories. That was actually a very really because I spent 6 months for the second one, but that was more
Oh.
rigorous for me and more intensive in my understanding of all the theoretical knowledge I'd gained earlier in school. Yeah, really motivating for me.
So do you encourage people to take on more internships to kind of see how their school knowledge could be applied and is applied in the real world?
Yeah. I mean, so those two internships in Nigeria is actually mandatory. And but the truth is, most students don't actually get privileged to work in some of these top organizations, and because of limited spaces. And if there's anything, I will encourage any young person in school, try and get the best place for your internships because it's going to really put you out there. You're going to be more exposed. You're going to work with best set of people, and you're going to learn more. It was a whole new learning journey for me. There is industry is a whole new life from classroom, right? Even though you bring your knowledge from classroom, but you tend to learn everything in a new perspective. Yeah, so I really encourage every young person try and get the best internship possible. Yeah, it's going to really be a very huge boost to your career.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I remember my internship when I did it, I was mesmerized and fascinated. However,
Yeah,
my internship experience encouraged me and motivated me to want to start within the corporate world and wanted me to immediately wanted to start with the company I interned with. It seems like for
yeah.
you, your internships led you to be like, okay, see you later. I'm going to start my own company. Can you tell us more about that and why you drove away as a young professional and went towards entrepreneurship instead of pursuing a career in the corporate world?
Okay, before I answer your question, so I'll say I might still be coming back to the corporate world, but for now, I think I'll still focus on my startup. This is what actually happened. Uh, so around the period I was in Slum BJ, some hackathons came up which I've been working earlier in school, right? So it was this competition in my country. It was sponsored by Data Science Network and some energy companies here in Nigeria. So I saw the opportunity and I told some of my friends and decided to, give it a try. So, during COVID, which was a year before, we had been, okay, personally, I'd been taking a lot of courses on data science, AI. I just said, okay, this is like a very, very big opportunity for me to, put my skills to test. Okay, I've been learning a lot. Let me see what I know. What do I not know? How can I use my knowledge, to make the world a better place? And because the challenge, we started developing IoT devices for tracking emissions, very, very small, low-cost devices. But, it was really, really precious to us because, we're able to deploy what we learned and we're able to put it to a live scenario. So we did a demo, we did a pitch, and it was very, very, very motivating for us. Yeah, and I just thought of it that, okay, why do I just stop at an hackathon? Let me see what this can eventually turn out to. And that was actually the beginning of the journey for me. All right. So the entrepreneurial world is just it gives you more room to explore. I think that's the word. All right. So I just want to see what's going to come out of this. I really hope it's going to create much more impact than it's going to help the energy sector over in Africa. And yeah, like I said, I'm not entirely out of the corporate world. I see a lot of friends, and I still want to, I still feel probably maybe after if I pursue or go for a postgrad degree, maybe I'll still come back for internship in the corporate world. Yeah, let's just see how everything unfolds. Yeah, but for now, we're looking to scale our startup in the coming months.
Okay, I see. I see.
Yeah.
And how does it feel to lead an early stage startup like Chemotronix Limited without having a big team? And what are some advantages and challenges you've experienced?
Yeah, so overall, it's been challenging, but definitely there've also been rewards, right? So let me start with the challenges. Most times you could know how to do something, but here you are with no resources. So you've got to convince people that okay, if you give me this, I'm gonna make this work. So timeline and you get these results. And that's one of the simplest of challenges. The more difficult one is okay, you know where you want to get to, but navigating your path could be so difficult or could be so bureaucratic. People you have to meet along the way, to get a lot of discussions going, and it could be so challenging. Uh, it's just you just see as each day unfolds, you just wake up to every new challenge and you have to face it as it comes, right? So challenges are just bound to come as you move, but as you conquer one, you see that more doors open, right? So for us in Africa, I think one of the major things affecting us is we want to get anything done, we have to import, and that's really really very, very big one for us because we have very low manufacturing power here, even though it's changing gradually. But it really, really puts a lot of hiccups in getting things done. Right.
Mhm.
So I can remember the first IoT device we had to build, just the prototype. We had to get sensors, sorry, the calibration device from abroad. And it took a whole lot of months just to get the device to calibrate our IoT devices. So that's just one out of many. And you want to grow, you're going to face much more challenges. But yeah, it's just part of what happens. And when it comes to team size, currently we're just about 5, 6, but we've had opportunities to work with a lot of mentors. When people see what you are doing, they want to say, okay, how can we help? So yeah, it was along the way I got introduced to some people in USA, some experts in blockchain. Um, I also got to meet some people at AWS last year. So yeah, those are some of the benefits that startup opens for you. Get to talk more with some stakeholders and pitch your idea. Challenges you have to face it, and you have to be very open to see how things unfold. You cannot just predict how everything is going to work, but you have to be very optimistic. I think that's just the word. That's very optimistic. With your 100%, you're going to get 100% input, 100% output, which would always happen, but you just have to keep that mind open at all times.
Yeah, I could imagine. And I guess it's important. How do you get into contact with these stakeholders? Because I was gonna ask you, where do you get your feedback from or your advice for your work and for the project? And how do you assess the progress you are doing? Usually, as a young professional, in the corporate world, one would go to their manager or their N+2 or their N+3. They would just go up the chain or go to their peers for
Yeah.
feedback and for to ask questions. So in your case, what do you do? Where do you go
Okay.
to and how do you take on those challenges?
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still learning, right? So the fact that probably I'm in my startup does not mean I know it all. And there's still a lot I want to learn personally. So yeah, I really courses, but much more we have advisors, right? So startups always have advisors, especially for small startups
Okay.
like this. We have advisors. So currently we have two in the US, one in Nigeria. So these are people that have worked with startups and they've seen how they've grown, right? So they know what it feels like to be in the startup world and they can provide input. Yeah, they don't know everything, so but they've been in the game. They've seen how it worked. They've raised money for startups, and they've seen startups fail. They've seen startups succeed, right? So they can point to why not do this, why not do this, and why not talk to this person? Why not revamp this? So all those one, two corrections really go a long way. Advice, calls, references. Sometimes there people that will not believe in you, but they can help you talk. Mention your name and say, okay, yeah, I know this boy did something. Um, let's see what he can do for us. So I mean, that's one of the things we've enjoyed. We just support from advisors, and yeah, that has been a very good one there. Last year, I ran a husband application for young startups. We got in. They've also been very instrumental for promoting us on the global scene, and we also got a submission to Youth for Climate last year. So I mean, all these youth organizations that help startups have also been very, very crucial because they
Okay.
have a lot of experts in this sector and they're
Okay.
always eager to provide that kind of support for us.
Okay. I see. I see. That's good. And do these advisors help you kind of identify and help you with your vision so you stay on track on where you want to get to? The
Well,
vision
so
or the mission of the startup.
yeah, so my startup is still growing. We are not yet 100% well structured as you would want, as I would want it. I mean, for some people they may like it, but I still want it to be much more structured than it is right now, right? So there are different structures to various startups, and depending on how you run your meetings, how you run your calls, how you structure it. So, but majorly, advisors are just there to review and monitor your progress. So they depending. I cannot speak for all startups. I'll just talk about my own. So what we do is we have call schedules that we monitor, talk about what we are doing at the moment, applications we are on, things we are trying to implement, e-coms we are facing. So we let them know. Uh, does not mean that every time they will be able to help, but I mean just trying to carry them along, probably via mail, and yeah, I mean just making them staying up to date with your progress, and yeah, that's just the word, right? The work is still meant for the team to do. Yeah, we are the ones to execute it, but they're just there to support and provide a way out or provide networks that could really be of help to us.
I see. Okay. And you touched on structure. The structure isn't where you want it to be. What does structure
Yeah,
mean to you? Is that, do you prefer a more like firm approach to a work environment? Do you prefer a more flexible approach? As a young professional and as a co-founder to a startup, what kind of structure um, do you like working in, if that makes
yeah.
sense?
So the startup, you want it to grow into a very more established company,
Okay.
very big one, right? But my structure for me is just more about organization, more well rigid framework to follow,
Okay.
simple framework for everyone that comes in to join. So most of the challenges we're having was that when I started, we were in school, and combining it was not so easy. Just my
Yeah.
final days in school, and I'm just leaving school, right? So at the initial stage, like now, it's expected that you won't get everything 100% right,
No.
all right. But as the journey unfolds, we want to put in much more solid uh, I don't want to use structure again, much more solid frameworks to ensure we have everything as it ought to be in a company of everyone's dreams, right? So yeah,
Okay.
that's the words for it. Yeah.
And okay, I see. So is that more okay, so I guess I'm understanding like a more not firm, but a more organized and
Yeah,
kind of
organized.
corporate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, we want to
okay.
make it much more attractive
Okay.
for people to come into, right? So we're just a team of six now. But a startup is basically an organization that can scale fast, grow faster, deliver something awesome. We are still on the journey, so we hope that we can achieve our goals and be where we want to be as soon as possible. Yeah.
And what kind of qualities do you think would be attractive for both investors and other young professionals to join in the company?
Well, I mean, everybody wants trust, accountability, integrity,
Okay.
excellence, right? So a lot of people can be. I mean, having an idea is not something so special. You can have a very awesome idea. But I mean, execution is very key. They want to see how well you can execute what you say you are doing, right? They want to see how well you can do it, not just how you're doing it, how well you can do it, and what makes you really different from others. Those are the things that set you apart, and that's what we want to be known for. We want to give off our very best and be the very best we can be with the resources available.
Okay. What about attracting young talent to join? What do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
would attract them?
I mean, the money. Everybody wants to have a high-paying job, more work-life balance, as they call it, more friendly workplaces. You want to have much more time to also pursue your own personal goals while you work for a company. All
Okay.
right, so everybody wants a much more comfortable life. They don't want to get all sucked into the job without having nothing to do with their own personal life, right? So overall, everybody wants to be very, very happy with what they are doing. I guess that's just what you want to be happy making the money you're making. You want to make enough money. At the same time, you want to create much impact to your community and
Okay.
organization.
Okay. I see. I've heard that a lot. I've heard a lot of that. What does work-life balance look like to you though as an entrepreneur? Do you have time for your personal life? Do you give yourself that time? Because I guess this your schedule is within your hands. It's all within your control. There's no one on top of you telling you to like, hey, I need a deadline. It's you giving you yourself those deadlines and those projects. So how do you give yourself work-life balance?
Uh, well, at this stage, I would say I really don't have a work-life balance. That's just the honest truth. But I mean, you find time to rest, but the structure is not just, you cannot just say you work 9 to 5. Yeah, there are days you wake up as early as 3 a.m.
Yeah.
and you could finish your work probably 10 and 10 a.m. and probably by 2 you're back. Continue down to 9 a.m. You go to bed, wake up again. So it's really, really not that structured. But and yeah, it might seem as though we don't have anyone on top of us. But the way startup works, you still have a board of advisors, so you have investors. Although we don't yet have a lot of external investment, all what we have at the moment is grants, right? So, but you're also accountable to your investors, even though you could be the one doing
Yeah.
your startup, right? So it's not as though you're all in charge.
No. Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not the overall person there. You still have to show accountability to everyone who has a stake
Absolutely.
in your company, right? So yeah, it's just more of you knowing what works for you. I mean, even in the corporate world, CEOs spend more time than the regular people on the job because a lot lies on their head, right? So I'm much more for an entrepreneur at the early stage. You are going all out to ensure what you are doing actually works out, right? So whatever it's going to cost, you want to give it just to ensure you have yourself happy. No matter how much time you put into it, it's the result that you want to see at the end of the day, and you want to ensure you reach the targets as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And that's understood. You want to make sure that you're delivering no matter what that entails, how much time that
Yeah,
takes to. I
definitely.
apologize. I don't think I gave you the space to actually explain what it is Chemotronix Limited is for our audience. Can
Okay.
you share? Yeah.
So yeah, so basically we are helping to track emissions in real time for the African carbon market that is evolving. So our goal is to create a very, very smooth digital framework in terms of reporting and issuing of carbon credits on the African scene, right? So that's just a brief summary of what we are doing. All this entails helping to facilitate clean energy projects in rural communities and tracking emissions across various locations. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and how do you believe young people like yourself can also contribute to the energy transition and to sustainability work? With what support from stakeholders do they need in order to go and do more work in that space?
Uh, well, enabling environment, much opportunities for research. It all starts from research in school, right?
Okay.
Solving problems, identifying problems, finding the gaps. I know you're trying to close the gaps. That's the goal of research work. So once you identify a problem, try to find a way to solve it. And once we have much more financial support, so that will be like some sort of incentive for young people to, uh, go more into it. So there was this Youth for Climate event launched last year by UNDP, government of Italy, and I think World Bank. So it was a sort of grant to help young people scale up their ideas. So I think initiatives like that should be much more encouraged. We need more of that for young people to take bolder actions. So dive deeper and explore more. I think that would really help them to explore their potentials.
Okay. So what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs looking into venture into the energy sector to find more of those opportunities that UNDP or other companies are providing?
Yeah, the first thing is start from where you are. You know,
Okay, to
start
start
doing start
local.
doing something. Yeah, start local. Let people know what you are doing. Talk about like one of the things I really helped us was we went for a lot of hackathons. We spoke at events. We tried to just talk about your idea. People will talk down on it, oh, it's rubbish, it's nonsense, but it's part of the process. Even till now, we are not really where we want to be, but at least we are learning. You must not be afraid of what happens if I fail. I mean, you just have to do it. You have to start out and see where it's going to land you. So we all have to, be ready to take bold steps and be ready to go all out, right? And also be ready, very willing to ask for help. It gets to the point where you're all stuck and it will be so frustrating. But support, mentorship, and guidance from people really helps to reduce the burden and lift off the stress. Yeah.
I like that. You're supposed to be, I guess, resilient.
Yeah,
resilient
resilient.
and flexible, asking for help. And it's hard. It's hard, especially in a startup to be, I guess, stomped on or people not believing in your idea. How do you maintain a positive outlook and continue to believe in what you're doing and continue to be motivated in your mission? What advice would you give to those to just block out the noise and focus on the goal?
Well, so it's two ways. Sometimes they're not seeing what you are saying, and you won't blame them. Other times, you're not getting something right, or you're not portraying the best image of what you are doing.
Oh,
So
okay.
whenever you get those feedbacks, you go back, you reflect. I'll have an honest appraisal. I mean, some things you throw away. Some things also try and see, okay, what exactly am I not getting right? What can I do better? So just keep an open mind. Some feedbacks could come in a harsh way, but they're actually the truth. And some might not really be what it is. It might just be a very wrong uh, opinion you're having of you. And you have to go back and correct such opinions, right? So you cannot convince everyone at the early stage, but one person believing in you, you have to ensure you keep that one and ensure you can convince more people. And yeah, the chain keeps on growing, right? So
Yeah.
start with those that believe in you, and you keep on growing.
Okay. Start with those who believe in you. So that's good
Yeah.
advice. What is your favorite part of your job right now?
Uh, well, at the moment, I think it's more of talking with new people every day, like you. So, for Chemotronix, probably I'll be talking with you now. So I get to talk, meet a lot of people virtually in person, and yeah, they talk, oh yeah, one is on that Chemotronix. Yeah, and I mean that's a very very good part. You meet the people every day and talk about what you are doing, and also you get to do more of a lot of reading. You have to research. I mean, I always loved reading, so you have to read more,
Okay.
study more. You have to be out there. So it helps you to expand your mind. You cannot just keep yourself in a shell. You have to expand, mix people of different cultures. And I think that really really helped expand myself as a person. I've developed a lot in the last couple of years.
Oh, that's good. So you're continuously putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, and that is
Yeah,
helping you grow into a person. And
definitely.
I think that's fair. Being in an entrepreneurial job role helps you grow, and I've heard this from a lot of people, helps you grow much faster than being in a corporate job
Yeah. So actually, it
because you
helps you
wear
go
many
faster.
hats. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, depends on the corporate. Some corporate structures also allow you to also grow fast. But one thing about the entrepreneurial role is that it all lies in your hands. So
Yeah.
the length, the extent to which you are willing to go all out depends on how you go, right. So there's no restriction. So you can really explore as much as you would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the restrictions as well. And what is the best career advice you've received?
Well, I'm still very young in my career.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I know there's still a long way to go, but at the moment, I feel it's just being open-minded to learning, right? There's still a whole lot to learn. And I just feel just having that very, very open mind to correct your mistakes and
For mind.
not being afraid to say, I don't know this. No matter how much you think you know, there's still a whole lot to know, right? I just love that. When people tell me that, yeah, there's still a lot to know. And even regards energy transition, we all talk about hydrogen. We want to see how hydrogen will work. We want to see how EVs will work faster. There are
Mm,
a lot of discoveries already made, but it's going to take a whole lot more for us to make it economically viable for the populace, and that's where the work lies. And
okay.
we just have to support ourselves to get where we want to get.
Okay. That's very valuable advice. What else? I don't know what else, Peace. What else would you like to share with us? How would you encourage the younger generation to move towards startups?
No, well, everybody cannot be a startup. We still need people in the corporate world. Because honestly, startups really need support of people in the corporate world to scale some of their solutions because they
Mm-hmm.
don't have all the old resources. So, but the thing is, with most startups, you have access to explore more new ideas. So there are ideas that big companies might not want to venture in because of the risk or because of I don't know, because of their structures, but startups can actually venture into such,
I see.
and that is where we need support from those in corporate world to
I see.
believe in us
I see.
and believe not just corporate world, people in government to also believe that okay, let's see what they can do. The oil energies, back to the days of oil and gas, uh, when it first started in the 19th, early 19th century, um, it all started from discoveries and it evolved, later became government backed, and we are the full-fledged big all giants now. So yeah, for the big click tech companies of the future, you're gonna need more innovation, and startups really, really help make a difference there. Uh, Energy startups are much more difficult. They're not like the usual fintech or e-commerce startups that you have
Yeah.
money flowing in and out.
Yeah.
You have to ensure you make something people want. You have a lot of money to pump into infrastructural development. And so it's so tasking. And I really think they must give energy startups the all support they need. It could be very, very challenging without support. But yeah, we just have to join hands and ensure we support more people who are willing to explore their ideas in these areas.
Okay. I see. And finally, Peace, this has been a great conversation, but finally,
Yeah.
what where do you see yourself in the next 3 years? Not gonna say 5 years,
Well,
but where's Peace in the next 3 years? Has Peace developed that structure that he wants? Has Peace sold his startup to a big corporation? Where's Peace?
well, that's a very tough one to answer because I mean you have a lot of imagination. 3 years ago, I didn't see myself doing a startup. All right, so like I told you, at this point 3 years ago, I was not even thinking of a startup. So I just love to take everything a step at a time. Um, for now, we want to launch our first project. All right, so we want to see how that will go. We know it's not going to come easy, but a step at a time. We have a 10-year goal, but 3 years, I feel I cannot really figure it out clearly. But definitely, you want the very best. You want the best position possible.
Absolutely.
Chemotronix is what is on my mind right now. Taking it. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Just see how everything uh,
Okay. Just
unfolds
going
out.
with it. You're just
Exactly.
going with it. Great.
Yeah.
And final words of an advice for young professionals seeking to enter the energy industry. What words of advice would you give them? Especially those who are wanting to work towards more sustainability and more towards innovation.
Yeah. So a lot of opportunities are opening up. All right. So I think at the moment we have a lot of research. I think hydrogen is like one of the biggest areas currently. And yeah, that's one area where they could really explore. Although I know it's actually challenging for countries over in Africa because we're in a dilemma. We have abundant oil and gas, and it's really, really challenging shifting to clean assets at the moment. But overall, we cannot just say we will not go and research. We have to start with the future now,
Yeah.
right? So we just have to start somewhere. And so the world is just develop yourself, seek support. If you have to take an extra course, extra seminar, attend conferences, write those papers, talk with mentors, yeah, and just development. Seek out to
Development.
improve yourself and contribute to
Yes.
the energy mix global.
That's great. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the industry is developing, and in order to keep up, you must be developing yourself and your skills.
Yeah,
If not at the same speed, but even more rapidly, so you can
yeah,
keep up
more
and
rapidly,
so you can give back to it as well and
definitely.
help it. Yeah, I agree. Well, this has been great, Peace. Do you have any last
Yeah.
final words you'd like to share with us?
Well, yeah, I mean, first and foremost, thank you for
Absolutely.
inviting me to your podcast to talk about what we are doing. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, I must also acknowledge Ikioma. So Ikioma was the one who reached
Yes.
out to me
Friend.
earlier and told me to be on this. I really appreciate that. I love the work you are doing. And I think it's going to help more people to share more and allow us to also learn. It's also a way of contributing to development and helping more young people to grow. All right. So in closing, I'll just say we all have to collaborate, corporate, startups, government. We have a planet to take care of. We have a future we're looking at. We have a lot of goals, right? And action is the world. We can keep on having summits, which are very, very important. But it all boils down to actions. Summits are for discussions, but the real work is done outside where we are in our companies, industries, our communities. And so we just have to ensure we have a much more robust framework for us to work together, create more support, create more frameworks to get where we want to be, and hopefully we can create the future we've all been talking about.
Hopefully. I think I'm gonna leave that right there. That was a good closing piece. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. And this is what our platform is for. It's for highlighting young talent like you, encouraging the younger generation to join, to take action, to help take care of this planet, and to know that the energy industry is not harming the planet, but we want to help as well. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining. And this has been
yeah,
a great
my
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Thank you so much
yeah,
and catch you.
yeah. All
Bye-bye.
right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.